was a fun weekend of basketball at home. You know, Coach Klein and I have joked the last few years that we set the tone for them a lot of the times, and we haven't done a good job of setting the tone for them this year, but Saturday we did. You know, we came out, we did all the little things that we've been talking about, improving upon, and you know, some of them we kind of let down in Metro State. We let them get too many offensive rebounds and we turned the ball over too many times. Hard to win games when you do both of those things. So we fixed that for Saturday. The team came out, played really hard in the first quarter. We got a pretty nice lead, and thankfully we did, because then we played even with them in the second half. So a lot of improvement with our team this year, and you know, one of the things that we've talked a lot about recently is it's really easy when you're having a season like we're having to get frustrated and kind of lose your character and play not the kind of style of basketball we want. And I'm really proud of our team and the people we have on our team and the leaders we have on our team for how they've really managed to keep us together and have great attitudes every single day. Because you'll see, you know, a lot of teams that we play that have similar records, they're frustrated and they're playing frustrated, and that's one of the things I'm really thankful for our team is we never got to that point. We're still playing, you know, basketball with a lot of joy and a lot of passion, and hopefully you guys can see that they're having a lot of fun, which is nice considering kind of our stretch this year. But we're improving on a lot of things. We've got 2 big games coming up this week. Trying to get a little revenge against Shattern State and Black Hills. They got us the first time around, and not to brag on Mads too much, but we didn't have Madeline those 2 games, but we have her this week, so we got a secret weapon for her. Yeah, we've got Shattern Thursday night. They've been playing really well. You know, we've just got to make sure that we don't send them to the free throw line. The last time we played, I believe both teams shot over 56 free throws, and that's not a very fun game. So we've got to make sure that we play solid defense without fouling, and then we got to put the ball in the hole, which is kind of the game plan for every game. And then BH was kind of an exciting game. You know, they got us up there, and so we're looking for a split with them, and we match up really well against them. Coach Norrie does a great job with them, but we're going to be ready, and we've been putting in a lot of work yesterday. We had a great practice and a bunch of individual work today, and moving on. Tomorrow we'll be scouting for Shattern. Mckenna Beaudet, I do want to talk about Mckenna. Mckenna's kind of had a little rough go of things with injuries and stuff, and she was one of our huge shining moments in that Colorado Christian game. She hit a couple big shots for us down the stretch when we needed to make sure we kept our lead, and she played basketball like she did back in November, so that was nice to see. And I know for her, you know, she just wants the team to have success, so to be able to contribute to that, we're really proud of her for sticking with it and playing the way she did. Outside of that, I just want to thank everybody for your support. Coming to the games, coming to the luncheons, still cheering us on. Thank Coach Klein for giving us exciting games to watch after our games, and just all the travel that we've had. This year we've had really smooth travel. Before our last luncheon, he said that I was the travel agent and we were flying. I would like everybody to know we made it. So we were a little delayed and sat on some runways a little longer than we would have liked to, but I don't think I'm fired as the travel agent yet. So, but thank him and the men's team. They're awesome to travel with. We couldn't ask for a better group of people to share a bus with and be on the road with. So thank you to him. Thank you to my assistant, Coach Sy. Puts in a ton of work. So, like I said, he's the man behind the scenes that makes us have success. And then I do want to thank Reese, my fiance. Didn't happen last night. It happened a while ago. Would have been too cheesy if you would have done it on Valentine's. But just thank him for all of his support this season as well. Being our team chef, being my counselor, keeping me in a decent mood when things aren't going the way they're supposed to be. So huge support system that we have. Thanks all of our admin. I'm excited for our game this week. I think our athletic department has done a great job of really promoting the game, and it should be a really fun environment and lots of people in the stands. So kind of just wrapping it up with a big thank you to everybody. And with that, I'm going to bring Mads up and let Mads talk a little bit. Madeline Heiser from Wyoming, Green River, Wyoming. Sophomore in school. And outside of that, I'm going to let Madeline talk. Make Madeline talk.
Hi, I'm Madeline. Like she said, I'm a second-year pre-health major from Green River, Wyoming. I chose mines just because the academic opportunity was just outstanding, and then also the chance to be part of a great program such as the basketball team and something much bigger than myself. I guess one of my favorite things of being a Hard Rocker is just the relationships with the people that I get to create and just all the people I get to meet.
What do you want to do with your career?
I want to go into physical therapy.
Any other questions for Madeline or myself?
Where are you from in Wyoming?
Green River? It's down in the southwest corner.
I know where it is.
All right, awesome. Well, we hope to see you guys Thursday and Saturday.
Well, is this the last one? Luncheon?
Stay tuned, but yes, as of now, yes it
It
is.
is,
But
okay,
yes,
well, I
stay
didn't come prepared with all my thank yous because, boy, do we have a ton of people to thank along the way here. But, you know, obviously, you know, we thank all you guys for being supportive out throughout the year. It's been great having you again, great having these again and seeing everybody. Missed that over the last year during the COVID and stuff, so it's been great seeing everyone. Do want to give big thanks, and I know that Jeri would echo this as well, to Anita for all that she does for us all year long. You know, you don't know the work that she does for all the teams, and she really does help keep us going. And you know, I just come home from road trips and I just take a wad of receipts and just throw them at her. And she takes them. So it's really nice to have someone like that that makes sense of all that kind of stuff. So, you know, but really appreciate you, Anita. Thanks for everything that you do. You know, thanks to our training staff. Our personal trainer is Hannah Windall. She's not here. She has just, over the last 2 years, has been a fabulous person to have. We are so fortunate to have her. And just the whole staff is really good, but we personally deal with Hannah on a daily basis. And having to deal with this whole COVID thing, you don't know the nightmare that's been for our trainers to have to deal with that. So we really do appreciate what they've done. And then our strength coach, Carl Wise, and I'm tongue-in-cheek here, but he's got to do a better job. Okay, but he's getting our guys bigger and stronger, and he's still got some work ahead of us. We still got to get a little bit bigger size in some of our young guys and things. We had a good spring last year, but coming up this spring and summer, we've got to continue to keep getting bigger and stronger. But we're excited to have him. He's now going to step up, I believe, into the next order. I'm not jumping ahead on that if I say that.
Sure.
Okay. So he's going to step up and take over our strength program and stuff, and we're just happy that we still get to be the team that works with him and stuff, because he does a tremendous job, and our guys have a lot of faith and trust in him as well. And of course, our administrative staff, you know, they do so many great things. Brad Bloom, Cassie Kosiva, you know, Josh, just all of our game days. We really do have one of the best game day experiences in the RMAC. It's quite honestly, there's some schools that just don't try very hard, so no offense, the bar wasn't set real high by some of them. But you know, but for a lot of teams that do, we're right there. We do a really good job, and I think as fans, you know, really show appreciation to that, because they do a great job to see that you get. Obviously, the basketball game is the big draw, but I know there's a lot of other things going on. It's really cool when we do that. And like I said, I wasn't prepared, so I know I'm forgetting somebody along the way here, but we do appreciate all them with that. One other thing I did want to come up here and mention, I don't know if any of you knew Merle Karen. Merle we lost him last week, and you know, and I just wanted to say something about Merle, because Merle was a great, number one, just in the community of Rapid City, a great supporter of athletics and sports for youth and for the Hard Rockers and stuff. I know if you knew him, you knew that he was a big Rapid City Central fan and a Hard Rocker fan. But he supported all levels of youth in Rapid City, and we just obviously lost him. For me, it was personal because my wife worked under him for 15 years and just treated her just great, and couldn't ask for a better person for my wife to work under for 15 years over there at Cato Thorstensen. So we're going to miss him and seeing him at the basketball games and stuff, and just have his family in your thoughts and prayers as they go through a tough time right now. We'd really appreciate it. So, with that all being said, obviously, I think I stood up here about 4 weeks ago and talked about us having to be a more consistent basketball team, specifically on the offensive end. And, the good news is that we are trending in that direction. We're not taking big leaps and bounds in that direction, but we are taking steps in that direction. And that's, again, we've lost some close games along that way. And then Saturday, we were finally able to, kind of overcome a little bit of an inconsistent moment in the second half, and then get back on track and have a good finish towards the end. And a technical foul helped us too a little bit. And so that was unfortunate for them, but we were able to take advantage of that situation, and that was good for us. But overall, as we start looking at our numbers and the things, you kind of look at behind the scenes to say, okay, are we making progress and stuff? We are making progress, and really happy with the way our guys are coming to work every single day. They've lost a lot of tough ones. Probably one of our biggest Achilles heels right now is our defense on the three-point line. We haven't been able to, and it isn't necessarily against the best three-point shooters that we go against. We do a pretty good job against them. It's letting the guys that haven't been known to be three-point shooters get loose on us and really knock down some shots. I don't know, I think it's been about 5 or 6 times that a guy that shoots less than 25% from three has a really big night on us shooting the three, and is really the difference in the game. And so, for us is just learning to, defend those guys a little bit better. I think when we come from a high school or some other place where we come from, you're not used to realizing that those guys that are shooting those percentages are still pretty darn good basketball players. And if you don't give them their respect, they can still make you pay. And I think that's a lesson that we've learned a little bit this year. So we're getting better at that though too. And I think Saturday was a huge test because you saw 2 of the top three-point shooters in the league and those 2 little guards from CCU. Those little guys, they can flat out shoot it. And if you give them just that much space, it's lights out. And so that happened to us a little bit, didn't it, Colton? Yeah, and because Colton was one of the guys that gave him that little bit of space there, and he made him pay for it. So, I think it's a good learning experience. It's always better to learn after a win, all right? And so we're very thankful and appreciative of that. And but that's something we're going to continue to work on and get better. And I think it was 4 years ago when I first became the head coach. That was one of our key things was being a better defensive three-point team, and we're kind of at that point right now as well. Our process is we want to protect the lane and protect the rim first, and we're doing a really good job of that. Now we've got to be able to extend our defense and just be able to defend a little bit better. And our offense is now starting to get more consistent. We've now got 4 guys that are basically shooting at 1 point per shot, which that's kind of the benchmark is 1 point per shot. We at one time only had 2. We now have 4 guys. So again, we're trending upward. We're getting better. It isn't right now. Every game obviously hasn't put us on a good winning string yet, but boy, you can really see it coming along. And who knows? With these next 4 games coming up, anything could happen. We know that we can compete with all 4 of them, and it's just and we've led in games with pretty much all 4 of them. And so we just need to have an opportunity again to get out there and get with them. So this week is obviously a big week. We're a game out, I think, in the playoff picture, and so we're going to need a little help. We kind of took it all out of our hands a little bit, but we still got to win games in order to still have a chance to get in that last playoff spot. And Shattern you're going to see a team that Shane. I've known Shane, their head coach, for a while, and he just has always been known to be a really good defensive coach, and he really has this team playing really hard, and they do a great job of really protecting the lane. They're just really stingy about giving you shots in the lane. And every time you go in there, there's going to be 1 or 2 guys around you every single time. And they're a little undersized, but boy, they play hard and they play with a lot of grit. And we were down at their place. We were fortunate to jump out to a nice big lead on them, and they came roaring back on us and tied it at half. And then the second half was just a dogfight, and we were fortunate enough to come away with the win. And I expect it to be almost that kind of game again because they're just a really gritty group. And I know we are too, and we're excited to go at it with them again. So I think you're going to see a really good basketball game. And then, of course, Saturday with Black Hills, that's kind of scary. Them and Shattern play tonight, and I'm really glad they play because, Black Hills obviously is leading the league. They've been on a big roll, playing really well. And then the last 4 games, they really have just kind of hit a wall. They've lost 3 of their last 4. And I'm sure they're not very happy. It's kind of like the lion with a thorn in his paw. You don't want to face that. And so I'm hoping tonight they get a win at Shattern and soothe that a little bit. And so I don't root for Black Hills Bunch, but tonight I am. And, so hopefully they'll get that cured. But they're just really a talented team. Obviously they've got arguably one of, if not the best player, one of the best players in the league, and Joel Scott. And you have to put so much attention on him. And last time, our goal wasn't to shut him down or to hold him, even to half as what he averaged. At the time, I think he was averaging 27 points a game. And we just said, hey, if he gets 20, we're still happy with that. It's the other guys we've got to be concerned with, his support. And overall, their top 3 guys, we held them to a negative 15 of their averages. Unfortunately, the 6th man came off the bench and went 8 for 10 from the 3-point line. And so that was something that we knew he was capable of. We lost him quite a few times in transition. So that's going to be a focus for us, is we got to be able to obviously not let guys like him loose. Same thing, we're not going to go in there trying to shut Joel Scott down, try to keep him contained. We don't want him to get 30 plus on us, but if he ends up with 18 to 20, I don't know that's the worst thing in the world. It's just what you do with the rest of their team and how you defend them and give yourself a chance when that comes. And from an offensive standpoint, I like I said, really where we're going. I think we're sharing the ball really well. Coach T made a great comment. He heard a thing about the Celtics, how they've turned their season around, about the number of passes that they make in a game was,
323 in their last 8 games.
Yeah, 323 passes in their last 8 games. And just goes to show you, we tell our guys that all the time, share the ball, move the ball. You probably hear us a lot yelling from the bench, move it, move it, move it. And that's something we're doing really well. We're sharing the ball extremely well. We're really moving the ball well. Guys are getting really good movement, and specifically when our posts get moving, they're really hard to guard. And we're fortunate to have some guys that can move as bigs. And so I think we're a hard guard for some people. And it's good to see, and it's kind of happening at the right time. So I think it's going to be a great, fun week for us here. Before I get Colton up here, any questions from anybody? I covered it all. Excellent. Okay. Yeah. So speaking of Coach D, I thanked Coach Ryherd when he was here and introduced him, but Coach Trinipple, I think when we had our opening ceremonies back in the fall, he wasn't here. So if you don't know Coach Trinipple here, this is my other assistant, and he does a really good job on the basketball side, but he does an even better job of taking all my jabs and ribs that I give him all the time. So
Big skin.
we get along really well. Fortunately, obviously, I've known him for a long time. We both went to Shattern at the same time and didn't know each other. If you can believe that, in Shattern, Nebraska, that you didn't know each other. But got a chance to coach his son, who is a tremendous player for us, and just built a great relationship. And then have been able to get him on staff, and we really do team up pretty well together, I think. And Coach Ryherd sometimes has to referee, but other than that, it's been a pretty good relationship. So, but really thankful for both these guys. They do a great job. Obviously, a ton of experience between the two of them, and just great guys. I really enjoy our office sessions and our film sessions. We just go through so many different things and ideas, and it's just really fun. It's fun to work with them. So, with that said, Colton, you want to come on up here? Okay, this is Colton Frigoli. I'll let him talk about himself, but Colton came to us actually from Colorado Christian, so it's, Saturday was special for him to be able to beat them. I think we're 3-1 now, right, against them since you've been here, so we like that. And but Colton is originally from Reno, and I don't want to steal all of his thunder, but we're really excited to have him here. He hasn't been 100% healthy the whole year, if you haven't known that, and I don't want to break into HIPAA rules or anything like that, but I'll tell you what, he doesn't complain at all. And, if he does it to Hannah, but he doesn't do it to me. And so he just does a tremendous, he's just a fighter, and he just keeps coming every day and practices hard. He hasn't shot the ball probably as well as he would like to, and we know that he can. I mean, he can really shoot the basketball, and we just got to get that to translate over into a game. And he's had a couple games, but it's just the consistency of it, right? So we know that, and it's just, again, it's just a process, and we're getting there with him. But I think a little bit of the aches and pains sometimes play into that. I'm going to give him a little bit of an out on that, but we're happy to have him, and you know, we're going to have him after this for 2 more years, and I'm really excited about the future for Colton. He's going to be a really good player for us. But I'll let him kind of take the floor from here. Thank you.
All right, well, I'm Colin for goalie. Like you said, I'm from Reno, Nevada. I went to Bishop Manoke High School there. One thing I would like to say is I'd like to thank the coaching staff for giving me an opportunity to come here. Like you said, I transferred here, and when I was transferring, it was in the middle of COVID, so I actually wasn't able to come on campus to get a visit here. But one thing that I noticed in the Zoom meeting that we had is they preached about the culture that they had here, and that's honestly one of my favorite memories or thing to be a Hard Rocker is our team's almost like a family. It's really tight knit. Everyone's close together, and that's what I appreciate about this team so much. Is where I was coming from. It wasn't as close, but just coming here and having that chemistry that we have is awesome. So, okay. Any questions?
What are you studying?
Majors?
Oh, and I'm a business management and technology major, and I'd either like to go into designing prosthetics or law school is another option that I'm thinking of too.
I was just
Yes.
going to comment, you are so fast on the floor. I get exhausted watching you. You're flying through the air. Quite exciting.
Yes, thank you.
He's even faster when he's healthy.
Yeah. Is that it? All right. Thank you.
All right. Well, I'd just like to echo the thanks that Jeri and Eric shared. We couldn't do this without our administration, without Anita, without our assistant coaches. Dan Hawkinson and Jilly Ricky are just invaluable to me. Ross Fifley, our pole vault coach, does an amazing job, and it's part of the reason I brought the guy with me today that I did. We'll bring Travis up in a minute here. Is the work that Ross and Jill have done with him over the last couple of years. But we've had a couple of meets since I saw you last. We went down to Shadron, and we had last minute change when we went to Shadron. They called us up about 3 days before, and they were like, "Hey, would you be interested in doing a HEP?" And a HEP is a Friday-Saturday combination for them. We needed to get another multi in for these guys anyway because they're pretty young, and we had been planning to go to NDSU with them the next weekend, and we're like, well, if it's in Shadron, sure, that saves a lot of time and worked better for these guys' schedules, I think, a little bit, and so we took them up on that, and Travis came in, and how many PRs did you set in that HEP? 4? 4 PRs. And that wasn't even the most PRs set by one of our HEPs that day. He got beat by one of his teammates in terms of total PRs, but Travis won the HEP that day. Aidan Thompson, one of our freshmen, got, was it 7 PRs? The only thing Aidan didn't PR in was the 60-meter dash. And if you've seen Aidan, he's about 6', and it takes him a long time to unfold all of that. So PRing in the 60 may be a little bit of a rare occurrence for him. But no, Aidan's awesome. We're really excited to see what he gets done over the next couple of years. He was a guy that when we first brought him in, the first thing we said was we're going to try and turn you into a HEP because you're tall, you ran the hurdles, you ran cross country, and we don't know exactly where else you would fit. So we put him in there, and he has done some really awesome things with it, and so we're really excited to see what he's going to get done. Then we, this last weekend, we went down to, we split up actually, and we went to Minnesota State in Mankato, and we went to South Dakota State out in Brookings, of course. We had a pretty good weekend. We had 23 PRs, 17 new top 10 marks on the weekend. And out at Mankato, that was primarily our field event athletes and some of our sprinters. We had 3 out of 4 guys in the 400 meters that set PRs. We had 3 of our women throw over 40 feet in the shot, and I mean, I've been here since 2009, and I don't remember ever having 3 women throw over 40 feet in the same year. So that's a really, really huge accomplishment for them. And then one of those ladies, Macy McClure, actually PR'd in the weight throw as well, with a pretty big mark. She got out to about 16 and a half meters, which is a pretty big heave for them. So really excited about where those ladies are sitting. I think all 3 of those ladies are in the top 15 in the conference in the shot right now. In the weight throw, I think we've got 2 in the top 10. So pretty excited, looking forward to what they're going to do. Then we flash over to SDSU, and the biggest reason we go to SDSU is because it's a big track. So they've got that 300-meter track. You know, you can't find a lot of 200-meter bank tracks around here. That's kind of the other standard. Big tracks, bank tracks, they allow you to run your fastest. And so the other nice thing about going there is that, and to Mankato, is that they're both below the altitude threshold. So the altitude threshold matters for sprinters because every time they run above it, they get penalized for it. Okay, they actually get time added to their performance, where a distance runner gets time taken off. And so we want to try and get some raw times without those altitude penalties on there, because of course going into conference, the fastest times are what's going to get you in. And then on those big tracks, it's the same thing. It's just a chance to run faster and get a better mark. And the kids came out and they performed. The mile, Abby Celine and Zach Henschel both PR'd in the mile. Both of them, I think Abby moved up to number 2 all time. She actually passed one of the best runners we've ever had here on that, Erica Westerman, in the indoor mile. And so that was kind of a huge accomplishment for her. Zach ran, I think he sits 6th in the mile now all time. But I think kind of the banner part of the weekend was the 5Ks of the first day. So we loaded up the buses or the vans at 8:45 that morning. You know, about 2 minutes after the snow squall alert that y'all got on your cell phones, right? And we very carefully trekked our way out and got buffeted by the winds all the way across the state. And we got there, and 2 hours later, they were racing their 5Ks, and we had 8 out of 9 of them PR. 8 out of 9 of them moved up or into the top 10 list for the first time. We had our second ever indoors, our second ever lady break 19 minutes. She ran 18:59 in the 5K, finished second in her heat. And then on the men's side, kind of the highlight of the weekend was Ryan Moen taking the school record in the men's 5K. And if you remember, I mentioned to you last time around that one's been there for a long time. In fact, it's been there since 1998. So if you're doing the math, it's 24 years. John Redmond held that record. It was 15 flat .15, something around there. And Ryan ran 14:49.98. Ryan loves to run 98s and 99s. In fact, his school record in the mile is 4:19.99. So just the way he likes to roll with it, I guess. So all told on the season, I'm going to look at this real quick just to make sure I give you the right numbers. But all told so far this season, we're at, I had to add these up yesterday, 112 personal records and 53 new top 10 marks so far this season. So getting a lot done with these guys, and looking forward to seeing what happens this weekend. We're going up to Black Hills State. It's going to be our last chance qualifier before the conference. Sunday I'll spend a couple hours trying to get our conference meet entries figured out and get those in. And then on Monday we'll find out who gets into the conference meet. To get into the meet, you have to be top 18 declared, which in some events, like the throws, basically means you have to be in the top 18. In other events, like the distance races, that'll ebb and flow a little bit as some people move away for different reasons to one event or another. And so it really gets interesting trying to see. We had one year that they went all the way down, I think it was 56th in the women's mile to take the last person in. I don't think it'll do that this year. It's pretty stacked. Pretty much every distance race from 800 meters up has at least a dozen provisional qualifiers for nationals. The men's 3K is probably the most stacked with 25 provisional qualifiers, meaning that there could be people with provisional qualifiers for nationals that don't get to go to the conference meet in that event. So it's going to be a really exciting conference meet next week when we get to that point too. Made even more exciting by being up at Gunnison, Colorado, so good old 7,700 feet elevation. And so I know some kids are already starting to figure out, okay, well, that means that I can run this much slower in this event and still get a PR out of it. So, but this is a guy, go ahead and come on up, Travis. This is a guy that we've been pretty excited about, and I'll let him talk here and introduce himself a little bit as well. But this is Travis Kleinsasser, and Travis actually kind of showed up middle of the year on us. I kept having kids from the team pop their heads in and say, "Hey, coach, you should talk to this kid. You should talk to this kid." And then we're at a meet at Black Hills State one day, and they're like, "Hey, coach, that's the kid we told you should talk to." And he was running unattached that day, and I think he ran 200. And so, of course, I made sure to have him in my office the next week so that we could talk to him, and added him to the team. And we were initially thinking he was going to focus on the pole vault, and then we did that for a year, and then he went on co-op on us, and then he came back, and Coach Yu looked at him and said, "We should put him in the multi," and that's been a pretty good fit for him. He's sitting 5th right now on the conference list in the multi. His pole vault is a definite benefit for him, and probably the other thing that is his biggest asset is just that he doesn't quit. He thinks he's tougher than anyone else in the gym. So, you know, I remember going into the first multi, we got to watch him in the 1,000, and that was the event that everybody kept telling me, the hurdles, you know, he's a little short for the hurdles, so I don't know how that'll go. And the 1,000's the other thing. Well, I'll tell you what, that 1,000 he just doesn't know how to stop. So he just dogs whoever's in front of him, and it's perfect, it works. So been real excited to have him here, and we'll let him talk a little bit now.
So, like Coach said, my name's Travis. I'm from Huron, South Dakota, and for the Hard Rockers, I do the multi, which is 7 events over 2 days. My main events are pole vault and sprints. Let's see. In high school, I did football, wrestling, and track. And originally, I wasn't planning on doing track in college. And then, like Coach said, kind of in the middle of the year, my freshman year, 3 years ago, about this time, I decided I wanted to be on the team. And so we talked, and I was accepted. As far as academics go, I'm at senior standing, but I'm not going to graduate until May of 2023 next year. And so this summer, I'm just looking for an internship. Like Coach said, I had a co-op that was with Kimberly Clark down in Ogden, Utah, where it was a manufacturing facility. They make diapers, so Huggies, pull-ups, depends. Everybody needs diapers eventually or sometimes. People buy. So that was a really good experience. This summer, I'm looking more into like a construction type of role, just to get some diversity in my experience. So when it is time to make a full-time decision in a year and a half or 2 years, I have a better idea what I want to do. Let's see. Athletically, like Coach said, my half has been going really well. I've really enjoyed that. Conference-wise, I'm just hoping to make top 3. I think that's doable. If I can pull it all together 7 times, I think it'll work. I guess, did I miss anything? Any questions?
All right.
What's your major?
I'm a mechanical. Yep.
Okay, so big rivalry weekend with Chadron State, Black Hills State. We have a lot of alumni coming back. We are honoring conference championships from years prior. So the men's 71-72 basketball team, there's a handful of those gentlemen that'll be back. We have the 91-92 women's team, which I was a part of back in my time frame here. And then also an 01-02 women's team. So we were all conference champs back in our time here at Mines. And so we're bringing all those alumni back to honor them. So we have a few each coming back from each team. So we're pretty excited about that. And then we also have a large young group of alumni that are going to come back and celebrate with us. So we can't wait to have them back on campus. So anyway, Chadron State, Black Hills State, and don't forget to white out on Saturday night. But you guys are a huge part of our success here at South Dakota School of Mines. We can't do what we do here without your support, so we do thank you. You are our hard rocker, our extended family, so thanks for all you do for us, because you're part of our success. So thanks again, and we'll see you this weekend.